All right, let's move ahead to our next guest. A lot to discuss with this man. Colby Chaos Covington joins the show. It's been a minute since we've spoken. Colby, how are you?
I'm doing good, man. It's an honor to finally talk to you again. It's been a while, but you know, you were one of the journalists that was there for the uprise and the rise of my journey. So, you know, it's good to talk to you again while I'm at the top.
Yeah, it's kind of surreal to go back and think about it because you were having a hard time finding fights the first time we had a conversation. You were out holding signs, you know, we'll you know, you're outside like just hanging up signs, trying to beg for fights at this point. And now you're in this position you're at now. When you look back at those days, is it kind of surreal to think about?
It is surreal, but, you know, I always believed in myself, and I always knew that there was going to be a time and a moment where I was going to be in this position for, you know, super fights and main event fights and big money fights. And, you know, now that it's here, it's great. But looking back on where we came from and where we started from, you know, from being on the corner begging for fights, literally I'd fight for free for food, just to eat. That's how bad I wanted to fight and how much I loved to compete. So to be here now and making multi-six-figure paychecks it's a blessing, and the best is yet to come. You haven't seen the best Colby Chaos Covington yet.
How has quarantine life been treating you? What have you been up to during this crazy time? Has much changed for you?
No, much hasn't changed besides maybe a little bit better social distancing and just being aware, you know, of washing my hands, what you're touching, if you're putting your fingers in your mouth or in your eyes, or if you're going to pick your nose, you know, you got to be aware of those things. Those are the things that you can spread the virus or you can get the virus. So, you know, if anything, it's just opened up my mind to being more aware of things around me and just being more cleanlier and safer.
So let's dive into what people want to know at this point. We saw UFC 249 is set for April 18th. The whole card is out. It's released. And a fight we didn't see on there that people may have expected to see was a fight between you and Tyron Woodley. So to sort of set the scene, after Leon Edwards was supposed to fight Tyron Woodley on that London card, then it got canceled because of the coronavirus pandemic. They were talking about moving it to the U.S. You stepped in. You were offering to fight Tyron Woodley on less than a week's notice. Fight gets canceled. Now on Saturday, Tyron and his team go on Twitter and they said that they have agreed to terms to fight you at UFC 249. He has since said that you have turned him down. He said your mom was Carol Baskins and all sorts of crazy stuff has come out on Instagram and things like that. But you and I spoke briefly on Sunday, but can we sort of clear the air right here? Like, what happened from your perspective in trying to put this fight together for April 18th?
Yeah, you know, I offered up my services to fight the bitch Tyron Woodley on 6 days' notice. So if you don't think that I'd fight the guy on 12 days' notice, you must be out of your mind and you're delusional. You know, the thing is I'm not second fiddle. I don't play second fiddle to anybody. So what I'm trying to say is when the Tony and Khabib fight fell apart and they said that fight wasn't going to go on, I called the UFC. I said, hey, I want that main event slot. You know, I want to drag Woodley around for 5 rounds. I want to fucking talk shit in his ear in an empty arena in front of the whole world to see him. But I want it to be on free TV because I want every single person in the world to be able to witness this ass beating, witness me absolutely retire Tyron Woodley. And so we never have to hear the fake news out of his mouth again. And, you know, once they found out that they wanted to do Tony Ferguson versus Justin Gaethje, they didn't really talk about that. They talked about maybe pushing the fight back a couple weeks. And now we're talking about maybe doing it on Dana White's Fight Island. But let's be honest, you know, this is not a prelim fight. Yeah, Tyron Woodley could have fought in the prelims versus, you know, Leon Scott or some guy named Dilbert. But, you know, those are other bum, no-name jobber fights. You know, you're talking about a king. You're talking about the main event. You're talking about the people's champ, America's champ. You're talking about Donald Trump's favorite fighter. I don't play second fiddle to nobody, especially some lightweight little jobber gatekeepers. I'm a main event, and I deserve a main event spot in 5 rounds, and anything less, I'm not going to fight for. So I want to fight for the people, and I want to come out, and I want to end Tyron Woodley, but I want my main event slot, and it has to be pushed back 1 week, so be it. So let the world know, let Tyron Woodley, we're going to do this. We're going to do this on Dana White's Fight Island. We're going to do main event, and the whole world's going to see how exposed he gets.
So on Saturday, Tyron says, I'm in. We said yes. When did you and your team begin speaking with the UFC about your potential involvement from that point moving forward?
Yeah, we've been talking with the UFC, my management team over at Ballinger Group. You know, Lloyd and Jeff, they do a great job of getting fights together and doing a great job of reshuffling deck for guys. You know, they manage Ferguson as well, so they're a great management team. And I just leave it up to them. I offer my services. I really wanted to fight Tyron Woodley on 6 days' notice to save the UFC London main event because I thought that they were coming to the U.S., and I thought it'd be a great opportunity to save that fight and do it on ESPN for the people. While the people are stuck at home, I can be the one, the savior to save sports. Sports is dead. Everybody's dying for something, and they're dying for this fight because this fight is multiple years in the making. This fight is beyond personal. There is a serious beef between me and Tyron Woodley, and it needs to be settled. And the only way it's going to be settled is we're going to do it on Dana White's Fight Island. I'm going to end that bitch. He's going to be dead. And then they can just throw his dead body to the sharks in the private island.
So was there an official fight offer, just not in the main event spot? Was that the biggest point of contention here?
To be honest, I don't think there was a fight offer. We came to an agreement. We were ready to fight him. But I don't know. They couldn't get the logistics right. And I guess Sean Shelby and Hunter had a full card already for April 18th. So like, we're just going to go ahead with this. And they also recognized and realized that me versus Tyron Woodley is a bigger fight than Justin Gaethje versus Tony Ferguson. And if you look at the numbers, any way you crunch it, that's true news. That's not fake news. So this fight needs to be a main event. Don't let Tyron Woodley on the prelim so he can get three rounds, because we know Tyron Woodley's washed up. We know he can't fight. We definitely know he can't rap. So he needs to come take this ass beating, take his losing paycheck, and go back to doing whatever the fuck he was doing, talking about the Kardashians on TMZ or whatever the fuck he likes to do on his spare time.
So for you at this point, doesn't matter if it's the 25th or May 2nd or May 9th, you're in.
I'm in 100%. I'm on this interview today. I 100% put forward. If this fight doesn't happen, you'll know who the coward is, and that's Tyron Woodley. If this fight doesn't come together, this is because the washed-up Tyron Woodley is scared to fight, and he's looking for an easier paycheck. I'm in. I'm ready to go. I was ready to go on 6 days' notice. I was ready to go on April 18th. It doesn't matter. Let me main event Dana White's Fight Island live on ESPN for the people, because I'm the people's champ, and I want to save sports for the people.
On a serious, just seriously thinking about it, how likely, if you could give a percentage to it, do you feel that this fight will actually happen in the next month, maybe 2 months? Do you feel confident that this will be the fight that will be made, that you're going to fight Tyron Woodley sooner rather than later?
Man, I promise you, I'm on both hands and knees begging, praying that it happens. You know, the thing is I've been running down Tyron Woodley for so many years now. This guy, I mean, we've trained together in the gym, so he knows how good I am, and he knows he can't stop me. So, you know, this is the same guy that I scared into an elective shoulder surgery. He was ready to fight lightweights when I was the #1 contender, but then he got elective shoulder surgery, and the division must move on. I must defend my title, and I fought a scarier guy. This is also the same Tyron Woodley that was scared to fight Robbie Lawler, and I had to come out and fight Robbie Lawler with half my face torn off it on 4 weeks' notice with no training camp. This is also the same Tyron Woodley that's coming out in interviews saying he's broke and he's desperate, and we all know he can't rap because that shit is pathetic, man. The shit he be rapping about these days is absolutely washed up garbage. And, you know, I want to take the trash out. That's what I'm going to do with Tyron Woodley. I'm going to take the trash out. And, you know, if we're talking about percentages and how likely it's to happen, you know, it's 100% on my side. The ball's in Tyron Woodley's court. Is he going to take the ball and leave the yard? Or is he going to show up and take the ass beating like the pussy bitch he is?
If for some reason this fight can't get put together, is there anything else that will get you back in that octagon within this time frame? Like, especially during this time of uncertainty with the coronavirus, is it the belt? Any other fight stick out to you that would at least get you in there over the next 2 months if it's not Tyron Woodley?
Yeah, there's really only a handful of fights that I'd be willing to take. Obviously, I deserve my rematch. You know, people aren't talking about how I won rounds 1, 2, and 4, and I was beating Marty Fake Newsman up for 24 minutes before Mark Goddard gave him a life raft and saved his life. That was a bullshit stoppage, fake ref. There was fake nut shots. I mean, the corner audio, they stole my corner audio, and that played a huge factor in the fight because his brother's telling him in between rounds, oh, his jaw's hurt. You know, you're now go get him. You know, and that gives, you know, a little adrenaline boost to a fighter if they know a guy's hurt or whatnot. So, you know, besides that, you know, I won that fucking fight, and I want my rematch with Marty Fake News in one way or another. But, you know, I'm willing to come out and save the day. I'm willing to save the day for the people. I'm willing to save the day for the UFC, and I want big fights. And Tyron Woodley, it's a semi-big fight. Everybody knows I'm the A side. No one gives a fuck about Tyron Woodley because he doesn't give a fuck about us. He doesn't care about America. He's a commie fucking scum. He's a liberal piece of fucking shit. And there's nothing fucking more heated right now in politics than the red versus the blue. And that's why this fight needs to happen. And if it doesn't, then I want my rematch with Marty Fake Newsman. I want to beat up Journeyman, Street Judas, Jorge Masvidal, or, another big money fight. Maybe a Stockton Soy Boy, Nate Diaz, or Nick Diaz. Besides that, I got nothing to prove. I've already won a world championship. I'm the best fighter in the world. And, I'm just going to keep defending my belt for the people and fight, the most worthy opponents.
It seems that in a way, Tyron is also lobbying for a rematch with Kamaru Usman. He said he's kind of, he's chalking that night up to a bad night. It wasn't him in there. He's kind of going after Kamaru right now because he thinks you turned down the fight. Do you see the UFC going in that direction? Any chance of that happening at this point?
0% chance. Tyron Woodley absolutely got decimated in that fight. He lost every second of every single minute of every single round in that fight versus Marty Fake Newsman. So that's not, you don't do a rematch after a fight like that. You do a rematch after a fight like me, where it's a close fight, but I'm winning the fight. I won rounds 1, 2, and 4. I dropped him in multiple rounds, had him wobbled, and almost finished him multiple times. I threw a head kick, and then he's faking an eye poke on the other side. Dude, there's cameras, Marty. Do you realize you're going to get caught on camera and people are going to replay this and see how you fake acted a fake eye poke just to get momentum and shift the momentum and get a little break because you're getting tired? I mean, do you not see that I kicked you right in the liver and you can't fake a nut chop? Maybe your ref was paid off. Mark Goddard's a fucking clown, and good thing the border's closed because he needs to stay the fucking England and never come back to America because he's a fucking clown. No fighter should ever let Mark Goddard ref their fights. That guy has no fucking reason he should ever be in a fucking octagon. I mean, look at the fight. I mean, even the ending. I mean, there's 7 shots to the back of my head. He didn't do anything. And I'm intelligently defending myself, and he stops, and I stand right up. I'm like, what are you doing? I'm on a double leg, dude. I'm working, bro. Why are you fucking stopping the fight when it's literally, I'm winning the fight. I'm winning 24 minutes. The judges have me up on the scorecards 3-1. Like, what the fuck are you doing, Mark Goddard? This is a world championship fight. I signed up to fight to the death. When I fight in the octagon, the UFC knows it's kill or be killed. And that's what we signed up for. We're not playing fucking patty cake. If you rob me out of being killed or be killed, everybody knows it was a fix. Everybody knows it was a fix. Everybody knows I got cheated. So I want my rematch with Marty Fake Newsman. Or, I can end Tyron Woodley's career. Or, Journeyman Street Judas, he can get that work too. But if it's not any of those names, I'm just going to keep training, keep getting better. And, you'll see me back one day.
Do you feel like the only way you can get that sour taste out of your mouth from that night is to fight Kamaru Usman again? Or do you just feel like you could get it out fighting Tyron or anybody else at this point?
No, dude, I seriously have the biggest chip on my shoulder, bigger than I've ever had in my life. And there's only one way I'm going to get that chip off my shoulder, being able to get it run back with Marty Fake Newsman and have a level playing field. I mean, I'm not just talking about the bad reffing. I mean, the corner audio, the commission made a joke out of the fight, before the fight, there's a lot of stuff that happened to me that people don't know about. So my preparation and, maybe, getting my food tampered with before the fight, there's a lot of things that went into play. What I'm trying to say is that was my worst night and that was his best night. And you saw what happened. I still should have won the fight. So what happens when I fight on an average night or my best night? Marty Fake Newsman will get blown out of the water and I will get my title back. And he's got nowhere to hide, man. There's no other fight in the division that makes sense for him right now. And once Journeyman Judas, Street Masvidal, prices himself out of that fight, Colby Covington is going to come and save the day for the people and save the day for the UFC. Wait
a minute. Your food was tampered with? What happened?
Yeah, man. I didn't want, the thing is after the fight, I had multiple interviews and I didn't want to come out making excuses. I didn't want to come out, saying, this is what happened, because I feel like great athletes like Michael Jordan, he rises to the occasion through the food poisoning. He rises to the occasion. These things happen, but this really happened. All my coaches were in the room the night before weigh-ins. I had some bad chicken and I was puking. I puked probably 50 fucking times the night before weigh-ins. Didn't even have to cut weight because I was already on weight the night before because I threw up everything. And I was dehydrated and sucked up. And I never have to really cut weight. It's like a 10-pound easy weight cut. So that really affected me. I just remember how I felt on fight day on Saturday. Like my legs felt weak, my body didn't feel right, and I feel like I was just getting touched the body and like it felt like I was getting stabbed. And that's never like that. I have a very strong core, but I just knew that the food poisoning played a big role in the fight, and it wasn't my best performance, and that's why I want to rerun with a fair ref on a fair playing field, and I guarantee it'll be a completely different result. My hand will be raised.
With everything happening to you and dealing with everything with the weight cut and then on fight night, do you take solace in the fact that you still performed as well as you did, that you were up on one of the judges' scorecards, was even in the other one, and that you went all the way to the end? And, you know, a lot of people felt that fight shouldn't have been stopped when it was stopped. Do you at least take solace in that?
I mean, I take a lot of pride in knowing that I am the best welterweight on earth right now. There's no questions. There's no doubt about it. The Marty Fake Newsman is not on my level. And he knows that now. He knows that was his best night. You know, he got to take some time off. I had to go fight the world's scariest man, Robbie Lawler, 2 months before that fight as a tune-up fight just to get to him because he's faking injuries, faking excuses, just like he likes to do. That's why he's Marty Fake Newsman. But I'm here to make the welterweight division great again. And, you know, yeah, that was part one. But guess what, Mike? There's going to be a part two, and there's going to be part three. There's going to be a sequel and a trilogy to this Marty Fake Newsman fight. I promise you that. You have not seen the last of me and Marty Fake Newsman. I'm going to get locked in the octagon with him, and I'm going to end him for good next time.
How is your relationship these days with Dana White? Like, you guys have been on this roller coaster ride for a little while, and it seemed like, at least in his eyes, you've turned the corner with him after that fight with Kamaru Usman. How has that relationship been?
Yeah, it's getting better. He understands what I'm doing. He understands the business that I bring to this company. And, you know, I put myself out there, man. And not a lot of these fighters want to put themselves out there because they're scared of the fall. But, you know, I know I'm not going to fall. I know I'm the best. And I'm willing to put it all on the line. And I'm willing to make it exciting and entertaining because that's what it's all about. This is entertainment show business. I want to make it exciting for the fans. I want to give them, you know, some hope, some inspiration. And that's why I do what I do, man. You can hate me or you can love me, but you will be interested. And either way, I don't care, man. My haters, you know, they're just as good as the people that love me. So, you know, I'm trying to do good things and make it exciting for the fans again.
Do you, as a fighter, appreciate what Dana's trying to do right now during this global pandemic? Like, everyone's shutting down, all the sports are taking a break. Dana's saying, you know what? We're going to go out there and try to find solutions and put on these fights and do them as safely as possible. Do you appreciate what he's trying to do to try to keep this train moving?
Yeah, absolutely. How could you not appreciate what Dana's trying to do? You know, he's trying to save the sports world. He's trying to give ESPN something to talk about. He's trying to give the people around the world that are stuck in their houses, you know, people are in quarantine. People are, you know, they can't go do anything. That, you know, people are at home and they're miserable, man. They've watched every Netflix show there is to watch. You know, they've done every home workout that they could possibly do. They've done the extracurricular stuff that goes on in the bedroom. So what else can they do? They want to see sports. They want to see action. They want to see violence. They want to see entertainment. They want to be able to bet. I mean, these people are betting on the weather, if it's going to rain or not tomorrow. Let's give them something really to bet about. Let's give them a high octane, best fighters in the world, duke it out, and you can bet on that, you know? So, you know, I got to commend Dana White for doing a good job of keeping everything together and finding a place for this, man. The fights will go on, and I'm excited to get locked in that octagon again.
I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you about your old friend Jon Jones. We saw the news that came out about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. He got arrested, DWI, the gun charges and stuff like that. We saw your brief reaction on Twitter. You know, how do you respond to it a week and a half or 2 weeks later?
Yeah, you know, you would think that, you know, we've never seen anything like this before. You know, we're going through this pandemic, you know, this unprecedented time, you know, the coronavirus. People are stuck in their houses, and you would just think that everything is just, it's the craziest time ever in life. But then Jon Jones gets caught by the Albuquerque police again for what, the 7th or 8th time. Everything is normal in the world, people. I promise you. Jon Jones is still getting caught. He's still a dirtbag. He's still cheating on his wife and doing drugs and doing steroids. And we can almost go back to normal soon. So hang in there, people. You're going to be out of your houses soon. The world's coming back to normal. Jon Jones is still getting caught, and he's still a piece of shit. And hopefully he goes to jail soon.
I haven't been able to talk to anybody about this since Sunday night, Colby, but did you watch WrestleMania this weekend?
No, unfortunately I did. I'm so pissed, man. I heard about it and I heard the rundown, but I'm pissed I didn't get to see it. How was it?
It was interesting. It was very interesting with no audience. Obviously, I'm sure the two you heard about more than any were the Boneyard match with Taker and Styles, and then the Firefly Funhouse. Both of them were just fascinating. Like, I highly recommend you watch both of them, just because it's just so well done, in my opinion.
Especially without fans, man. That's Those guys are true sports athlete entertainers, man. To put on a show like that for the world, while everybody's at home and watching, and you don't have the same energy from the crowd and the same adrenaline that you get when you walk into a full arena. So to see those guys out there putting it all on the line is very. I respect those guys, man. Those guys are some of the hardest workers on earth, and I hope to join them someday. I got a lot of love and respect for Vince McMahon and what he's done for the business model of WWE. And my thing is I want to go over to WWE and make wrestling real again. I want people, to get behind it and think that it's real. You ain't going off the top buckle on me because I'll take you out with a double leg. You ain't going to get up there. So, I'm looking to go over to WWE and make wrestling real again in the near future. And until then, I'm going to be retiring all the old fogies over here in the UFC.
When do you think we might see that? 2021, 2022? Like what's sort of your time frame on making that WWE debut?
Yeah, I would say probably 2021, next summer, not this summer, but next summer. I've been practicing moves and really working on my promo and mic skills and just control and slowing things down and understanding the art of wrestling. And I want to make sure when I go there, I make the biggest splash possible, because I'm not here for, a long time. I'm here for a good time. And, I'm not here to make friends. I'm here to make money. So, when I go over there, I want to make, Brinks Trunks loads of money. And everybody knows I do good business. I pull numbers. People want to see me. I'm entertaining, and people are, divided on me. They hate me and they love me. But, it's all the same thing in the end of the day.
Do you have a finisher picked out?
Not yet. That's to be determined. I've been talking to Bobby Lashley, my friend. He's a teammate, and Kurt Angle. Obviously, I walk out to his music for my fights. So I keep in good touch with those guys. And Ronda Rousey, the greatest women's mixed martial artist of all time. It's good to learn from her and see her and how she's handling the transition from MMA to pro wrestling. So I think I'm gonna have a good grasp of it. I grew up amateur wrestling and I know how to act, I know how to sell, and everybody knows I know how to entertain. So, I think it's going to be a smooth transition when I go to the WWE in 2021.
So you've spoken with Ronda since she's made the transition?
Yeah, I've spoke with her a couple of times, and I actually went and watched her when she invited me out to Monday Night Raw when they had it in Miami in the American Airlines Arena. So, I went backstage, hung out with her, and just chatted with her a little bit. It was just crazy, the story she was telling me. She's like, man, Colby, let me tell you the best thing about this. When you go in for a fight, man, how much nerves are going in. You don't know what's really going to happen. It's so scary. You're petrified. Man, you show up to WWE, man, you just love it. You're so excited. Man, you just want to learn and get better and put on good performances. And it's just the energy levels and the adrenaline is just completely different. It's so much less stress in my life. And, I'm happy I made it over here, and I want to keep working hard and keep winning more world titles and keep beating people up.
Couple more things before we let you go, Colby. I appreciate the time very much. I know you spoke with our good friends over at Submission Radio a couple weeks ago. You apologized. You mended fences, so to speak, with Dustin Poirier. There were others on your team that you didn't plan on mending fences with. One you have already mentioned in this conversation. Has that changed at all over the last couple of weeks? Have any more fences been mended here, or everything's still the same here?
Oh, yeah. Those guys are all my friends, man. Joanna, Dustin, Jorge, those are all my teammates, man. Those guys would never say anything bad about me. They would never do that. They only say nice things about me. So, those are my teammates, and I have nothing but respect for those guys.
And last thing for me, Colby, what's the message to everybody right now, to the UFC, Tyron Woodley, anyone who's listening and watching right now? What's the message here as we look to get you back in the octagon and make this big fight happen?
My message to Tyron Woodley, Marty Fake Newsman, Dana White, anybody else that wants to come get this work, I'm here. I'm here right now. I raise my hand. I want tagged in. Let me in the octagon. Just give me the ball, Dana. I will run it into the end zone. Let me save sports. Let me save, this dark time. And let me give light in this dark time. Let me save sports, put it on free TV on ESPN. Everybody knows I'm a main event fighter, so I'm not fighting anything less than the main event. And let's do this, man. I don't care. Let's go to Dana White's Fight Island. You could put Tyron Woodley's dead body with the sharks out there on the island. No one cares about him anyways. So let's do this, man. Give me the ball, Dana. Give me the ball, UFC. I'm going to save sports, and I'm going to do it for the people.
Always a pleasure, Colby. Crazy times in the world, crazy times in MMA, and here we are talking like the good old days. Hopefully this all gets squared away, it works out in your favor, and we can come to terms and get you back in there. I think everybody wants to see that fight at this point. We've wanted to see it for a while now, and hopefully we can make this happen. Thank you, Colby.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate it. Good talking to you. Stay safe out there, man, and we'll catch you on the flip side.